is a Canadian astronaut, fighter pilot, and will soon become the first Canadian to venture to the moon in the historic Artemis 2 mission. Please welcome Jeremy Hansen. Hello! It's so nice to meet you.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much for being here. Come have a seat. Oh my gosh, Jeremy, I am so thrilled to meet you.
Me too. I'm happy to meet you. And wow, what a great crowd.
Yes, everyone's very friendly here at the Good Stuff. It's very nice. I have to ask, when did you decide that you wanted to be an astronaut?
That goes back a ways.
Yeah.
My mom would tell me I was 5 years old, but I still remember the image I saw in Encyclopedia A.
Yeah.
I was looking for airplanes in there, and I came across Armstrong, Neil Armstrong, first human on the moon, of course. Saw that image and turned my treehouse into a spaceship. Never stopped talking about it since.
That's amazing. Yeah. So it was a book. It wasn't looking up that made you want to.
Yeah, and then I'll tell you, the next time I looked at the moon, then I now realize like humans had been there. There were you can't see them, but I knew there were boot prints on the moon. I'd seen photos of them, and I was like, "That's crazy. I'd like to do that someday."
Yeah, I mean, and now you're here, which is absolutely amazing. But you were so young when you kind of got into this industry. I mean, you were 17 when you got your pilot's license, which I don't know what I was doing at 17, but not that. It's so cool. If you weren't doing fighter pilot or being an astronaut, is there something else you ever thought you might do, or has this always been the mission?
Yeah, always been the mission. I definitely lobbed on to being a fighter pilot early on as well, and I knew that was something I could work towards first and I could go do. I'd seen other examples of that, people like Chris Hadfield moving towards that, and so I knew that would work, and I didn't know how the astronaut thing would turn out, but I knew that I would at least try.
That's amazing, and it's such a like a moonshot essentially, where you're really kind of going for it, and you kind of have to commit, right?
Oh, I will have to commit on this one for sure. Yeah, once we leave Earth, we're going.
Yeah,
so.
It's happening. There's no turning around. No, like, oh, I forgot my keys.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Speaking of that, so you're a dad of 3 grown kids, right?
Yes.
How is it when you go off and when you got accepted into this and chosen to be part of this mission? What is it like letting them know that like your new business trip is just going to the moon?
They were super excited about it.
Yeah.
I didn't really know what to expect. I mean, I've been in the space program a long time now.
Yeah.
My kids have kind of grown up in it. Like I've had moments where like my kids are like, "Is this another space thing, Dad? Like, do I really have to hear like one more cool thing about space?" And so I didn't know what the reaction would be like if they'd be like, "Oh, okay, good, moving on." But they were really excited.
Yeah.
And what I love, as a parent, any parent knows this, when you really learn what your kids think is when someone else asks them a question and you listen. You're sort of like a fly on the wall.
Yeah.
And when I listen to my kids' responses to people asking them about this mission, I'm really proud of them because they really understand why we're doing this.
Yeah.
This is not really about 4 people getting to the moon and back. This is much, much bigger than that. This is meant to inspire humanity. This is meant to push people, bring like thousands of people together with genius, to create solutions that matter for us on the planet, and they get it. And I hear them reflecting that back, and it makes me really proud of them, really proud of Canada.
Yeah, that's amazing. Honestly, this mission, Artemis 2, is making so many kind of turning points. First Canadian on the moon, first woman, I believe, to go I don't know how far, but there's so many things. So what does it mean to you getting to be that first Canadian on the moon and being part of a mission that's doing so many firsts?
My crew and I, we talk about this a lot because this comes up a lot, and it's true. And you have to find the balance. I mean, we want everyone to see themselves in this mission, and we will definitely do that. We do have a woman going, we have a person of color, and then we want to reflect back to people like we're just here because this is humanity today. Like Christina, my crewmate, she says this all the time. We love this. We're going for all, by all, and this is a really great message for us. But we don't, as a crew, we don't really love to talk about the first because what we really want to talk about is the next. We are just a small step. We're going to prove this vehicle. Our job is to stress this vehicle out, learn everything about it, make sure that it is ready to go into lunar orbit in the future, help people get to the surface of the moon, eventually take us to Mars. And so we want to do our job, and then we want to see the next cruise take us further and further, and eventually I want to see a Canadian on the moon.
Yeah. Honestly, that's so cool. I think that's really neat. I've seen you talk about the importance of mentorship and the importance of people in your life who led you down this path. I read somewhere you talked about how you're a lifelong learner, which I think is the only way you can get to be an astronaut is if you're constantly curious and you're constantly wanting to push and learn and try new things.
True.
So the fact that you're thinking about not just what you're going to do, but what it's going to do for future generations is really amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so important. And so, like, in our mission, we will not walk on the moon. If we land on the moon, we're in big trouble.
Yeah,
We're not
yeah,
coming
yeah,
up. That is not planned. We don't have a lander. But we think about everything we do, we think through that lens of, okay, the next crew will have to be preparing to walk on the surface. So what do they have to do? What can we do now? Like, for example, Christine and I went up into northern Labrador and explored a crater there. You can see we have a vlog on it on the Canadian Space Agency website. And it's an amazing place to train future spacewalkers up for the moon because we have this really unique anorthosite, which is kind of like, we all familiar with granite, sort of like a granite, but anorthosite's very rare on Earth. It's all been recycled. And here we have it in Canada in this spot, but we also have a meteor impact in that same spot.
Cool.
And so that's what it's going to be like on the moon. And so we went there, not that we will pick up samples on the moon, but we wanted to get ready, lay the groundwork for future astronauts to train in Canada, in Labrador, in this sacred Innu site, which is beautiful. These people are beautiful, and they welcomed us there, and now they're a part of humanity going back to the moon.
Wow, that must be so wild. Does it ever kind of like hit you and you think like, when you just wake up in the morning or you're having your coffee, are you ever just like, this is my life? You've worked so hard for it and it's actually happening. Or is it kind of just the next step for you?
No, like when you say that, it hits me.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's crazy, and that's why I'm so proud of Canada. It's humbling for me. I'm just a regular person, but it makes me really proud of what the country can do.
Yeah, it's also so cool. You keep talking, and I think it's so amazing how you keep talking about the other people. Like, yes, we see your face, but there are so many people working on this project, and you get to work with those brilliant minds who are doing something that maybe you can or can't do, but you get together with this group of people who are all experts in their field, and you get to work towards one mission. And I think that's such a beautiful thing to do with your life.
Yeah, it really is. And it's inspiring to watch them in their zone of genius creating these solutions. I said this a while ago and people kind of thought it was funny, but it's true. Like, going to the moon is even harder than I thought. And it's because...
Sorry.
But what I meant by that is, like, I am constantly impressed by, like, all the little details that somebody somewhere is working on. I keep meeting them, and I'm like, wow, okay, I never thought about that. I'm glad you're thinking about it. That is a big deal, and I'm glad that we have a solution for that now.
Yeah. I had a lot of these conversations. I chatted with Colonel Hadfield on my podcast recently, and he talked about, again, working with people who are doing things that he would never be able to do and getting to do that. But he also mentioned that you get like a little bag, like you get an amount of space of stuff you're allowed to bring. Yeah. Have you planned on what you're going to bring to space with you?
No.
No.
And I'll tell you why, because we are going to be living in this tiny capsule. Like, imagine getting in a minivan and going car camping, but you never get out of the van.
Oh, my goodness.
It's tiny, and it's very mass limited on what we can bring, and we don't know how much stuff we are personally going to be allowed to bring. So I've heard everything from, like, an envelope with some stuff in it to maybe a pound. I don't know yet. So
wow.
We need to get a little bit more detail on how much we can bring before we make the final list.
May I suggest a deck of cards? You got 4 people. You could play euchre all night.
Yeah, but have you tried to play cards in microgravity?
No, maybe we have them sticky. I don't know.
Maybe what we do is we bring you into a microgravity airplane, do one of those flights.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
You bring the cards and we'll try it.
We'll try it out?
Yeah.
I'll get
See
you.
if it's a good idea.
I got the left bower. We're good to go. Well, Jeremy, thank you so much for spending your time with us today. We are so proud of you. Canada's so proud of you. We can't wait to see what you do.
Oh, thanks.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Hey, Mary here. What did you think? Drop your comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more of the good stuff.